Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and welcome to this week's vlog. And this week I thought it would be fun to bring you guys along with me while I kind of get ready for the holidays and put up all of our holiday decorations, maybe potentially go to Home Goods, pick up a few more things, and just kind of like get into the holiday spirit. I really haven't done much of anything yet. What we did was my husband and I pulled out the trees. We're gonna have 2 trees this year and we set them up, but they're not decorated yet. So we're gonna do that together. And then the only other thing that I did was put up a few of these like little Charlie Brown trees over here, which I will show you in a second. And I also ordered a few decorations online from Amazon, so we're going to unbox those as well. But before we get into all of that, I did start a new book, which is Good Spirits by BK Borison, and this is her new Christmas release, which I'm so excited about. This is also on my November TBR, so I'm happy to be reading this right now. And it's kind of perfect because I think this is also going to help me kind of like get into the holiday spirit. So I'm not very far into this right now. I'm only on chapter 6, so I'm going to give you a proper update when I'm like halfway through the book. But so far this follows the main characters Harriet and Nolan is the ghost of Christmas past, and he's basically haunting Harriet for no apparent reason. Really, because she's not really coming off as like a person that needs to be haunted or a person that really needs to change her ways. But I've been listening to this on audio and I'm going to continue listening to this while I do all the decorations. And I have to say the audiobook is so good for this. I highly recommend you listen to this on audio because the narrators in this are just amazing. Like Nolan's character, actually, both of the narrators in this are really, really good. I actually really love both of them, but especially Nolan because he has like this Irish accent and it's so, so good. So definitely recommend listening to this, especially if you're like kind of trying to get into the holiday spirit or if you're doing your own decorating and stuff like that. This one would be a good one to pick up. But so far it's pretty good. I really like the setup of it. But again, I'll give you like a proper update when I'm like halfway through the book. So in terms of what I'm going to be doing right now is let me show you the trees that we're going to be decorating. There they are. So those are the trees that we're going to be decorating. I have 2 pencil trees. I got these both from Amazon, and we've always lived in an apartment, so we don't have like that much space for like a huge expansive tree, which I would love one day. But these are the ones we're using right now. And one of them is going to be in the living room, and the other one I'm going to put in the library in the reading room. And I do have all the decorations for the one that is going to be in the living room, because we've used it in previous years and everything. But for the one that's going to go in the library room, I'm not really sure if I have enough. I did order some decorations for this. I don't know if this is actually going to be enough, so we might have to go to Home Goods and pick up a few more things. But besides these trees, I also put up these little Charlie Brown trees right here. These are already set up. I just basically pulled them out, set them up, and put them over here. These are not going to have any decorations on them. They're just kind of here for the vibes and the lights. But that's it for the holiday decor that's out right now. Let's go ahead and open up all the boxes for the decor that arrived and see what we got. So most of this is going to be for the library tree because the ones for the living room tree are back there, and I think I have enough of those. And for the living room tree, I love like the aesthetic of the traditional kind of like red, green, gold kind of champagne kind of thing. So that's really the design theme of that one. I don't think I'm going to change it, but for the library tree, I decided that I want to go with like browns and greens and maybe some white and silver. I ordered these little stick ornaments in like chocolate brown and champagne color. Some of them are glitter, some of them are gold, some of them are matte. I think these are so cute, and I thought that I would use these as the topper because that's what I did with our living room tree before, is get like these kinds of things and just stick them all up top and kind of like fill it out that way. So I thought these would be a good enhancement for the library tree topper. So there's like a few of these in here. I also got little brown bows, and these look very small, but I think maybe they're going to be okay. They're velvet and they're kind of cute, so I thought these would be nice to add. And then what else do we have here? Okay, more of these little stick balls in here in a variety of colors, and I thought these would be also good for the topper. So I thought that like doing a mix of all these would be really, really cute. Then I also got another set of like little green velvet bows to go with the theme. And these actually look smaller than I expected them to be. I thought these would be a little bit bigger, but these are just like a mix of brown, green, and white velvet ornaments. And it doesn't really look like there's that many in here, so I might need to get something similar or maybe just a few more boxes of these because I just don't think that this is going to be enough really. So in here I have a set of 2 smart plugs, like little Wi-Fi plugins to plug in the Christmas trees. see what this one has. This is candle holders. I got some candle holders for the table. That's a nice color actually. It's not a super yellowy gold, but they're just kind of like basic candle holders. And it looks like they have like a padded bottom here so they won't scratch the table, which is nice. So I'll put these together later. We also have, this is a tree skirt for the library. Went with a gold and white one, super cute. I think this is 24 inches because the trees are pencil trees, so they're pretty small. And then what else do we have in here? I think these are the candles. Yes. I also got a set of 4 of battery operated candles that come with like a little remote thingy. And these are supposed to be real wax. They are, yeah. They are real wax, but they are battery operated. I think a battery will go in there. So I think these are going to be cute for the dining room table. We'll set those up later as well. And then the last box I have in here, I have a feeling this is going to get glitter all over the place, but these are brown, like little twig things. Ooh, yeah, they're going to need fluffing, but they're like brown little leafy twig things, and I thought they're actually bigger than I expected, but I thought that these would go really well into the library topper as well, just to kind of like stick out, or like throughout the tree, just kind of like stick out randomly to add volume. So these are super pretty, very happy with that. So that's my little haul of the Christmas decorations I got. Now let's get to putting up the Christmas tree for the living room first and decorating that. And I'm gonna listen to the rest of my audiobook while I do that. Okay, so tree number 1 is finished. We have him set up over here. I think this is where he's gonna stay because we've got a little bit of room here and it's kind of like an open space, but this is what he looks like. So as you saw, my topper is made of these kind of like champagne balls, and I just kind of arranged them to make it look as full as possible. And then everything else on here is just kind of like red, gold, silver, white, and green, obviously. I used a lot of these like gold flowers and then a lot of like these berry fillers. So like these basically come out. I bought a ton of these and they just kind of come out and I just push them in to fill in any spaces and like any gaps and stuff. Plus, I really love the holly berry look on trees. That's like my favorite thing. And on the bottom here, I did the Christmas tree skirt and then also these little blue kind of like present ornaments that mimic little presents. So I think that's so cute. And he is all set and done. He's also hooked up to Alexa with the little smart plugs that I showed you earlier. So he's ready to go. I think I'm gonna see if I can find some more things for this little end table here next to the sofa because he's looking kind of bare. I did put a holiday candle on it for now, which is like a spiced currant candle that I got as a gift one year, but it's just like a red candle that I haven't actually lit this yet, but we will light this maybe tonight and get all the vibes together after maybe if I find a few other little knickknacks to put on this table. So next I'm gonna move on to this guy here, but I think I'm gonna move him into the library and decorate him there because I think it'll be easier to move him without all the decorations on it. So I'm gonna do that right now. So the library tree is finished. Let's take a look. There she is. She is beautiful, I think. I don't think she needs any extra decorations. I think she's pretty well filled out. There's no gaps or anything like that. And I have to say, I really, really love it. I love the design style here that I chose with the brown and the green and the white and these little things sticking out, these little glittery leaves right here. I think these are so gorgeous. I love the velvet brown ornaments and the bows and everything. These are a little bit wrinkled though, so hopefully they kind of like even themselves out a little bit so I don't have to take a steamer to them because I really don't want to do that. But I think they do add a nice little element of like adding a little bit of yellow color, a little bit of gold in here that the tree would otherwise be missing. But these green bows right here, they look a lot better in my opinion. But I do like the look of these, like if they weren't so wrinkled, I think they would be really beautiful. So maybe I will take a steamer to them because I think it will just enhance the overall look of the tree. But yeah, so here she is. Here's what I did with the topper. I just kind of combined some of the velvet ones and some of the sparkly and gold little clusters of ornaments on top. And I think that looks super cute. And of course I have the gold and white tree skirt on the bottom. I think that's really cute. And that's the finished tree in the library. Also, I think it's a really good size for this little corner. It's not too wide, it's not too full. It's just kind of tall and slim and slender, and I really like the look of that. So I think I'm pretty happy with it overall. I think it's really, really cute. I don't know if I'm gonna add any other like Christmas decor to the library. I do have the green blanket on the daybed right now, but besides that, I don't really have anything else in here. So I'm gonna go to Home Goods now and see if there's anything there that I might wanna pick up and add to this. I know I need some garland for the living room and maybe a couple of little knickknacks like I mentioned before, but besides that, I'm not sure if we're gonna do any additional decor. So let's go to Home Goods and see what we can find. So I'm back from the store and we did some damage. As you can see on the dining room table behind me, I think I'm gonna put everything out tomorrow because it's already getting kind of late. Before tonight, I'm just gonna show you what I got. Not really sure if doing this on the carpet is smart, but here we are. So first things first, I got 2 of the twig things with glitter on them. I thought these would be really good for the dining room table, and if there's too many of them, because these are like twigs of 3, I could put them in some vases around the house. So that's the first thing. These are very glittery, so I think they're gonna get a lot of glitter everywhere. But there's 2 of them. Then the next thing in here is this gold candle warmer. I thought this would be really lovely to put over here under this red candle that I showed you earlier, because the second I put that candle out, I could just smell it around the house a little bit and it just smells so lovely. So I thought that doing a candle warmer with it would actually enhance that scent even more. So I'm excited about that. I think that's so cute and pretty. And then I also got a table runner for the dining room table. It's got a feather on it. And this is just a champagne color with gold and silver thread running through it. You probably can't see it right now, but it's kind of dark in here, but that's what it is. Then in this bag, I got a few Christmas trees that I thought would look really nice on the buffet over there. And the first one is this kind of like wooden and white one. It looks like it's got like sugar cookies on it or something in the form of snowflakes. I think that's so cute. This one here is beaded with like white and gold beads and like a wooden star at the top. I think that's also beautiful. Then I got 2 sets of these little Christmas trees. These are champagne colored and also very glittery, super cute. Next, I got another little Christmas tree, and this one is just a gold metal one to go with the rest of the Christmas tree, super cute. And then 2 little white reindeer. This one's just laying down. He's got gold antlers and he's wearing a gold wreath around him. And then the matching one to him is standing up. So 2 cute little reindeer. I'm obsessed with them. Everything's kind of like in the gold champagne family at the moment. And then the last thing in this bag is this little wooden Christmas tree and reindeer setup that I thought would be cute on the coffee table. And then the last thing I got is a garland for the buffet, and it's just kind of like flocked with pine cones on it. It looks like a wreath, but this is a garland. So I hope you enjoyed my little home goods haul. I'm gonna go ahead and put everything out tomorrow and then continue decorating and then show you guys the finished product. So I do actually have an update for you on the book, and I am halfway through. I'm on chapter 19, page 185, but I've been listening to this on audio all day, so that's kind of how far I got. And like I said earlier, this follows the main characters, Nolan, who is the ghost of Christmas past, and Harriet, who is being haunted by him. And Harriet is just kind of like this sweet, nice person. She doesn't have a lot of friends except for like the one girl that works for her. She owns this antique shop called the Crow's Nest that she inherited from her aunt, and her aunt just recently died, and she was like a very special person to her because she's really the only person that ever made her feel loved. Like, her parents were not super loving, not very kind, and not very affectionate, so Harriet has always been kind of like starved for affection and starved for love, and she got that from her aunt. However, her aunt is gone and she left her with the antique store. So she's just living her simple life. She's running the antique store, and she's kind of like a people pleaser when it comes to like her parents and like meeting expectations for anybody around her, like neighbors and stuff like that, but not really like close with anybody. So when Nolan starts haunting her and they visit her past, they're not really finding anything that would like warrant her being haunted and that would like warrant her like needing to change her life, you know? But that's his assignment nonetheless, and he's got to haunt her, and he has until Christmas Eve to get her to her next ghost and stuff. So there is a deadline. Now, she's very different than anybody else he's haunted, obviously, because she's like an actual good person, whereas other people that he's haunted, like they actually did bad things. They actually like deserve the haunting and need to change their lives. So it's a little strange for him that she's been assigned to him and he doesn't really understand it. And he's kind of like a grumpy ghost as well, because he's not very happy in his existence right now. He's very lonely. He's been alive for like over 100 years or something. He doesn't have any friends either. He has no connections. He has no way of like having a relationship with anybody or even a friendship or anything like that. So this guy is pretty sad. And hanging out with Harriet and her being kind of like a bubbly, happy person is like kind of nice for him. So he's dragging it out a little bit, which I think is really, really cute. So the story itself is very intriguing. Like, this is a romance, so I'm assuming they're going to end up together, obviously. day and it's going to be a happy ending, but I'm not really like sure as to what's going to happen. Like it could go one of two ways. Either, you know, he comes back to life and they are together that way, or she dies and they're together that way. Or maybe there's even actually like a third possibility where he kind of like quits his job and like kind of does like a different career path or something as a ghost. You know, he's no longer like the ghost of Christmas past, because he really, really hates his job, you know? So that might be interesting. Maybe he just continues being a ghost and they have a relationship in that form, kind of similar to like The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. That would be interesting. And, you know, maybe he like waits for her until, you know, she finishes her life and then they end up together. Like that's potentially a theory, maybe. But I'm just really curious as to what direction this is going to go because I just love this story. Like I love this kind of story. So I'm very interested to know like how it's going to end and what's going to happen. I really love both of these characters. We haven't gotten too much from Nolan yet, like about his past. I know he was a fisherman and he drowned, but we don't know all that much else about him. So I'm really looking forward to learning more about him. And yeah, so far I really like Harriet and I like what's going on with them. The tension is really good and there's some yearning because, you know, obviously it's also forbidden because he's a ghost and he can't be with her in that way, but he is interested in her and I think that's really, really cute. So I'm going to continue reading. I'm going to read a little bit more tonight and then probably listen to the rest tomorrow while I finish up decorating, and then check in with you guys with my final thoughts. Good morning. So I finished Good Spirits this morning actually, and this was so sweet, you guys. This was so heartwarming, so sweet. I literally sobbed until the very end of it. Like the emotion in this book is so good. BK Borison does such an amazing job with writing emotion, and this one will definitely tug on your heartstrings. It was just so heartwarming and I loved every minute of it. Harriet is such a great character. She's incredibly relatable. Like the way that she is such a people pleaser and she's constantly working hard to make sure that the people around her are comfortable and she accommodates them like at her own expense. I thought that was very relatable. However, she's not a lost cause because she did actually stand up to her family about like not pursuing the career that they wanted her to pursue and wanted to do her own thing. And even though that she didn't get the reaction that she wanted, she still ended up with the results that she wanted. And I thought that was very brave of her because she ended up living the life that was meant for her, that fit her personality, instead of just doing what she's told when it comes to her family, even though they like pressured her a lot when it came to that and just completely like disregarded her needs and everything. So I thought that was very brave of her. So she wasn't really like a lost cause. She stood up for herself when it was absolutely necessary, like when it was like most important. It's a real shame that her mom never really learned the lesson, but at least her sister does end up coming around. So you can't really win them all and you have to work with what you got. So I think she did a pretty good job with that. I really loved her relationship with Nolan, like Harriet and Nolan as a couple together. I loved all of those like little synchronicities, like all of the areas where they overlap, like stuff that they didn't know about that actually overlapped in their existence. And, you know, like they later find out throughout the story what those things are. I thought that was so sweet and so cute. I really, really loved everything about this book. It was so heartwarming. There were so many sad moments as well. It just really like brought me to tears a little bit. And I found myself tearing up at a lot of the parts in this book and especially towards the end. Like, I don't know why I sobbed so hard, but it definitely tugged on my emotions there. So needless to say, I really enjoyed this one. Highly recommend it for the holiday season if you were thinking about picking it up. And I think I'm going to rate it 5 stars because I just loved it. So that's this one. The next book I'm picking up in this video, I think, is actually going to be Soul Searching by Lyla Sage. And this is the first book of her new Sweetwater Peak series. So I think this is the one I'm going to read next and then see how far I get and maybe give you guys another update later in the day. So I'm going into this one completely blind. I don't really know what's going on in this book. I think they're in a haunted house, but I'm not sure. So we'll see once I get a little bit into the book. And then hopefully I'll be able to give you guys an update either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see how far I get. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and finish decorating the living room with all the stuff I got from Home Goods yesterday. So let's go and do that now. So I'm on page 191, chapter 18. So a little bit over halfway, like right about the halfway point, but a little bit over. And so far, this is really interesting. This follows the main characters, Brady and Collins. And Collins is a photographer, and she returns to Sweetwater Peak under the pretense that she has time and she wants to help her family with their family business. However, she's not doing really well in her job. She's kind of like lost her inspiration. And the reason for that is because her and her twin sister can actually see ghosts and hear ghosts. And they've had this gift their entire life. And suddenly something happened to Collins where she can no longer hear them. She can still see them, but she can't hear them. And she's kind of at a loss because she doesn't know why that happened. And it was like such a big part of her life because she's built like such close relationships with some of these ghosts. Like some of them have been with her like her entire life. And like the stories that she tells about like how she's remembering them and everything is like so sweet. For example, like there's this old woman that's been with her since she was a child and she like watched out for her, took care of her, made sure she didn't get hurt and things like that. So it's like some of the relationships that she has with them is just like so sweet. And suddenly something happens that like she can't hear them anymore, you know? So a lot of them were like her close friends. And then suddenly this thing happens, you know? So she comes back to Sweetwater Peak to be with her family and maybe kind of try to figure out what to do because she's feeling really lonely inside. She's never really been alone having this gift and she just doesn't know how to deal with it. So her sister actually sets her up with this job to help Brady. And Brady is a furniture reupholsterer and he's new to town and he kind of like works closely with her parents. He reupholsters a lot of the stuff for their shop. I think they have like an antique shop or something like that. And they work closely together. So she moves in with Brady into this like kind of like old house where technically they have like separate rooms, like separate apartments with like a bathroom and stuff that like lock, but they share the common spaces in the house. So there's like a little bit of like a forced proximity thing going on. Also, on their first meeting, she does end up pepper spraying him, but he's like a really good sport about it. He actually turns out to be a really good sport about everything, really, because like as she's like working for him and like helping him with like the business and stuff like that, he notices that she talks to herself a lot, or what he thinks is her talking to herself, but in fact she's actually just trying to talk to the ghosts. But yeah, he's a really good sport about that too, and he obviously has a crush on her. She has a little bit of a crush on him already, and it's kind of like really sweet, but also kind of a slow burn because I'm over the halfway point in the book and nothing has really happened between the two of them yet. So I'm definitely feeling like this is going to be a very well developed romance. I also really like Brady because even though he's like a really good sport about some of the things, he's not really a wet noodle. He's not like a pushover kind of main character. And I really appreciate that because I really just don't like male main characters that are like wet noodles. And he's definitely not that. He's kind of well balanced, but still easygoing. And I really, really like that about him. We don't really know what his backstory is yet and like why he's in town, but he is new to town and he doesn't really know the area very well. And the townspeople aren't very friendly to him. So he's kind of like dealing with some loneliness as well. And they kind of like end up connecting a little bit and having like some heart to heart conversations. And she does end up telling him about her gift. So he's also like very intrigued by that as well. So they end up helping each other a little bit because he just really thinks that she needs to reconnect with Sweetwater Peak to get her ability back because like that's where it all started. And then she's separated from it and then she kind of lost it. And then now she's back and hopefully her reconnecting with the town and the townspeople and like everybody she knows will help her get her abilities back. And him being new in town, he doesn't really know anything about the town and she's going to kind of like show him around. So they start doing that and she takes him to these places, like these kind of like hideaways that she used to go when she was a kid, but they're like super creepy, like old attics or like basements or like a dark forest in the middle of the night and you know like just these places. And he obviously knows that there's ghosts there, but he goes anyways. He goes willingly and they kind of like experience those things together. She really loves like this spooky, creepy stuff that like most people would be scared, but she's kind of like feels at home with it. So there's a lot of scenes of that happening so far where she's like taking him to like show him these places, but he's definitely scared. He's definitely kind of freaking out a little bit, but he's still being a good sport about it, which is really nice and really sweet. And I just love them. Like I love their romance, how it's developing. Like they're still kind of like in the friend zone, but there's tension, you know? So I'm really liking it so far. I'm just really, really enjoying my time with this. So I'm going to keep reading, but I should be able to finish this probably tomorrow and give you guys another update. Hi guys, so it's actually been a couple of days since I put out all the Christmas decorations, but I felt like I needed a few more like finishing touches. So I ordered a few things on Amazon and they just arrived. So let's open this up and then put these things out so we can do like the final tour of like how everything came together. Okay, what do we have in here? I think this is the blanket. I got another blanket because on the sofa before I had a brown one with the brown pillows and I felt like it broke up the white a little bit because the sofas are white. So I felt like it needed a green one for the green cushion covers. Let's see what this looks like. I really, really hate this packaging. I think this color is okay. It's very wrinkled though, but I got the green blanket for the sofa, and then this one is, what is in here? Okay, so in here I also got a few more additional little twigs, and these should be small to just like kind of place around the house. Just like a few little additional kind of twigs to place in some of the vases to make it a little bit more Christmassy, a little bit more festive. So we got that. And then I ordered 2 more sets of these LED candles, except these are in white. They're not Christmas tree shaped. They're just regular tapered white ivory color because I had 6 candle holders and there's 4 of the Christmas tree candles and I have 2 empty ones. So I ordered 6 of these white ones so that I'll put 2 of the white ones in now and then the rest of them will go in once Christmas is over. So that's the line of thinking on that. So let me go ahead and put this stuff out and then we'll do like a final walkthrough so you can see how it all came together. So everything is currently out. This is just a general overview of the dining room, living room area. And let's start off with the living room. So here in this corner next to the TV, all I did was place 2 of the candle holders and 2 of the new battery operated candles. And then on the other side is where the 2 white reindeer went. Then next to that, I have the 3 Charlie Brown trees that are just kind of like in the corner. They don't have any decorations on them, but they are lit up, so they add to the vibes, which I love. Also on the sofa, I changed out the cushions. These are like a velvet green, like an olive green color, and they're absolutely beautiful. I got them at Home Goods a few years ago. I forgot that I had them, so I just put them out because I think they're perfect for this occasion, obviously. And that way I didn't have to buy new ones. Then on the little table here in between the sofas, this is where I put the red candle and the candle warmer as well as the red reindeer. His name is Samson. If you remember from any previous videos why his name might be Samson, please let me know down in the comments. But he is over here now. I had these 2 things previously on this end table right here, but the dogs did their little shenanigans and nearly knocked over the candles, so I had to move them. And because that table's not accessible to the dogs because the sofas are kind of blocking it, I thought that was safer over there. I know it's not ideal with the lamp over there, but that lamp is usually not there. It's usually over by where the Charlie Brown trees are. So it's just there temporarily just to, you know, get it out of the way. And then on this sofa, I have 2 other green cushion covers that I switched out. And these are from Amazon. They're kind of like boho, but also dark green. And I think they're so cute because they have little tassels on them. Then in the middle, I just did the new dark green blanket that I just unboxed with you guys. I washed it to get all the wrinkles out. I think it looks really good here because it actually breaks up like the monotony of the white. And it actually matches those green cushions really, really well. I'm not sure if you can tell in this light because it is kind of dark in here right now. It's already after 5 and there's like literally no sunlight outside. So I'm using all the house lights, but it is dark green and it's actually really nice. Contrary to what it looked like when it came out of the box, but it is textured and it's got this really pretty kind of like olive green color, which I love. Then for the coffee table, all I did here was place that little wooden Christmas tree and reindeer decoration there on my coffee table books. And then these 2 vases, these used to be on the dining room table, so I just put them here and I added the little twigs that I just unboxed with you guys as well, and I think that looks really, really good over here. And then finally moving on to this area, you already saw me put together the Christmas tree. I think it looks amazing. I really, really love the look of the red, green, and gold and like the holly berry and that whole aesthetic, like that whole traditional aesthetic in Christmas trees. I think it's absolutely stunning, and I do really, really love this Christmas topper as well. I think this turned out really beautifully. And then on the end table next to it, I just put our clock here. This was a gift for our wedding. And then I have a Christmas candle here. This one's actually old, but it does have my dog's teeth marks in this. She's no longer with us, but I'm going to keep this forever just because it has her little teeth imprint in it. I have no idea how she got to it, but she did, so I'm keeping it. And then here is the overview of the dining room. I moved around some of the Christmas trees a little bit, not very much, but just a little bit. We have the battery operated Christmas tree candles, which I think are so cute with the gold candle holders. And I did the glitter twigs over here. Here is the beaded Christmas tree, the gold Christmas tree, and the cookie looking kind of like snowflake Christmas tree, which I think looks so beautiful. The placemats are from Amazon. The table runner is from Home Goods, as you guys saw. And then we also have these 4 little coasters over here, which are from Crate and Barrel, and over here as well. And then finally for the buffet, I put the advent calendar here, as well as the garland and the 2 sets of champagne Christmas trees on either side of this. I think it looks so good. Still have my lamp there with the coffee table books. And then over here in the eucalyptus, I just added a few more of those twigs that I just got. So I think that makes it look a little bit more festive. And then lastly, I moved the blanket ladder over here because that used to be in the library and now there's a Christmas tree there. So that's it for the living room, dining room. I'm really happy with how everything turned out in these 2 rooms, or like this one large room. I don't think it's like overly done, like not overly crazy festive, but I think it looks really, really good. And then the last piece of Christmas decorations I have is the Christmas tree in the library, which is so beautiful. I'm absolutely obsessed with this tree. I love how it turned out. And that's the only piece of decor that I have in the library right now. Okay. This lighting is atrocious, and it's one of the main reasons why I never film at night, because it doesn't look good, I don't think. But let's close out this video. But before I do, I wanted to give you guys a final update on Soul Searching by Lyla Sage, because I finished this book and I thought it was really, really cute. We learned a lot more about Brady and like his past and everything, which was very interesting. And we also kind of like learned the reason why she was very successful with her photography. And I really, really liked that plot line. There was also potential for a conflict in here, but it was actually a pleasant surprise because it didn't turn into a conflict and nobody like walked away with hurt feelings, and it wasn't like a 3rd act breakup or anything like that, which was a very pleasant surprise. I really liked that. There was also a little cameo of Amos Ryder from her Rebel Blue Ranch series, which was nice to see. And in general, I just really liked the spooky vibes of this one. I will say I didn't really care for the real estate plotline that much, and also the portion where we find out why she lost her ability in the first place, like the reason for that and like how it came back. I feel like that was maybe like a little bit of a letdown, like just the reason why she lost her ability was a little bit of a letdown. I thought that could have been better developed. The romance was so sweet in this one. I thought it was very well developed. I loved how slow burn it was, and like the entire like getting there portion of that was really, really well done. It was full of tension, a lot of yearning, all those things that I love. So I thought the romance in this was like one of the best that I've read. I absolutely loved it. And overall, I just had a really good time with it. It had really good spooky vibes, especially like those scenes where she would take him to the forest or to the attic and stuff like that I mentioned in my last clip. I thought those were so spooky and like so well described. It totally gets you lost in that scene, and you just kind of feel those same emotions that Brady would be feeling in that moment. So I thought she did an excellent job with that. I think I'm going to give this one 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love the writing, I love the storytelling, and I'm definitely going to be continuing this series. So that concludes this vlog. We read 2 books in this video. The first one I read throughout this video, actually listened to on audio, was Good Spirits by BK Borison, and I absolutely loved this one. This one follows Harriet and Nolan. Nolan is the ghost of Christmas past. Harriet is being haunted by him for like no apparent reason, but is so sweet, so cute. I absolutely loved this one, and this was a 5-star read. Highly recommend you pick this one for Christmas, for December, or even now. It's a really, really well-written book and a really great holiday story that will kind of like get you in the holiday spirit. I really, really love that. And then you just heard my thoughts on Soul Searching by Lyla Sage, and this one is 4.25 stars. So I really loved both of these books. Really great reads. So happy I got them read because they're both on my November TBR. So very happy about that. And that concludes this reading and decorating vlog. If you've made it to this part in the video, please leave me a Christmas tree emoji down in the comments below for all of the holiday spirit we've been getting into together. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.